YouTube, welcome back to As Reviews. So I'm back out in the shed since, well, any video that I've had this black sheet on, I've been out in the shed, we moved house. So I've now got my little room to vape and do my reviews in. You know, I've been quite slow on the videos, there's been a lot going on. I now work full time for Angel Fire Mods. So I've not had a lot of time to put towards the reviews. I'm hoping that's going to change and I'm going to try and get back to doing at least 2 or 3 every week. Providing obviously I've got the stuff to review. So in today's video, I've got one of the best mods I've ever used to review, and that is the Variant Titanium Clone. Now, this one came from P-Smoke. There are a lot of companies out there that do this version, but it's all the same mod. And I mean, don't get me wrong, they are expensive. We're selling them at Angel Fire Mods for 180 quid. It came with 2 batteries plus a charger. This one I received as a gift. So thank you very much, Steve and Katie. You know how much I'm loving this device. I've already sold on my IPv3 because it just doesn't, it feels like it's lacking. I mean, I'll try and show you what I mean. So you look at the Variant screen, you've got all this information on there, and then you look at the Sigela next to it, and the IPv3 had even less information. So you know, you're knowing a lot more about how you're vaping on the Variant. So before we go down into the up close, I mean, I will just say right from the start, I absolutely love this thing. I've never had a mod that's had the same sort of feel. It's just absolutely, you know, it's perfect, and I've not had any glitches. I vape mostly on a K-Fun on it, purely for, you know, I want my battery to last all day while I'm sat in front of the computer doing the work stuff. And at night, I've always got a battery charged up, one in use, or one at a storage charge, which basically means that you've got your nominal voltage only within the pack, and it saves it puffing up, breaking down, which lipos can do. And so yeah, I mean, at night time I'll have a drip on it. During the day I'll use it all day. It's my go-to mod. It's got a puff counter on here. It goes to 1,000. It resets itself. I'm on a 2nd cycle, so it's like 2,000 puffs near enough so far. And yeah, the battery lasts. I've had none of the glitches that other people have said. But yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you some spec. So current configuration that they come with is a 2S 1200 milliamp LiPo with a 35 amp continuous and 42 amp pulse rating. Now the LiPos that it comes with and the charger comes with it, I'll only charge them on the balance port on the battery. That's the healthiest way to charge a LiPo pack, because it means both cells are charging it to the exact same voltage. Hence it balances out because it's 2 cells in series. I believe it's series, could even be parallel. No, it's series because they're 4.2 volt cells, which will give you the 8.4 volts when fully charged. Now it will take a 3S LiPo. I've not found one on the internet that will work with it. However, there are some 2S batteries, the eFlight 1300 milliamp hours, they're recommended for these. And so they're a good upgrade to go for over the stock batteries that it comes with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read through the specs that came in the little booklet, get all that stuff out of the way so that you can enjoy the up close. So on a 2-cell LiPo, the voltage range is 6 volts to 8.4 volts input voltage. So it's not going to let the pack discharge below 6 volts. Sometimes you'll notice that you're vaping, it'll say 30%, and you'll have another vape and it'll go to 0%, and that's purely because it's read the pack and it knows that the LiPo is going to be too unsafe, so it cuts you off. If you're using a 3S LiPo, if you can get one that fits, your voltages are going to be 9.5 volts to 12.6 volts. The standard resistance is, it says 0.27 ohms, but it will fire 0.1 to 4 ohms, and it's within a 0.1 of an ohm accuracy. So you've got a 0.1 plus or either above or below that range that it's going to be accurate to. The voltage again is 0.1 volts accuracy, so it's pretty damn accurate. The maximum amp limit on this, now there are some reviews out there, everybody's saying it's 60, well, some are saying it's 60 amps, some are saying it's 30 amps. The maximum amp load for this mod is 35 amps. I asked P-Smoke the full spec and they told me it was 35 amps, which, that's quite good going. It's a regulated device. And so the other thing that's floating around on the internet, and I just want to put this straight out there because I had confirmed it with P-Smoke themselves, and I have read a few more written reviews, and these are not DC to DC. These fire at 100 Hz PWM frequency, which is why you don't hear the rattlesnaking effect. So let me have a look. The error of margin on the wattage mode is 1 watt, so that's pretty close, and I think that's pretty much it for the spec. Like I say, 0.1 to 4 ohms, 6 to 8.4 volts, and you can use the mod, so the usable voltage is 2 volts to 8.4 volts, or whatever the capacity of your battery is. So if your battery is only at 7 volts, you'll only be able to put 7 volts through your atomizer. So what I'm going to do is, last thing on spec, so we've got short circuit and low resistance protection, we've got the battery protection cut off, and it doesn't matter about reverse polarity because of the micro DINS plug. There's only one way you can plug the battery in, and then you also your errors are showed by an indicator light at the top. So just the intro to this video has been nearly 10 minutes, so I'm going to take a couple of vapes and then we're going to go down into the up close and I'll show you all the ins and outs. That's just at 50 watts. Right then guys, let's go down to the table. Here we have it, the variant clone from P-Smoke. It will come in the cloned variant box with the variant logo. Really nice box, nothing else around the sides, just the variant logo, Vicious Ant logo. Inside you'll get the variant itself in a protected bag. You do also get some instructions and the batteries, which I've currently got in the mod. So starting from the front, we've got the menu button, really nice positive feel on the buttons, the wattage and voltage up and down buttons. On the top we have a spring loaded stainless steel 510 and the status LED, so it'll flash red when your battery's getting low, it'll flash red when there's any type of error within the mod. On the left hand side we have a nice clicky fire button, the Vicious Ant titanium logo, a battery vent hole, nothing on the bottom, nothing on the right hand side. On the back it's just black glass. It's supposed to be Gorilla Glass. I'm not 100% sure on that. I've not been able to get the confirmation. So the mod itself is fairly weighty. I'll just give you some measurements. So we're looking at 98mm tall by 25mm wide, deep, and 47mm wide. To get to your battery, slide back the back cover. We've got the ball bearing catch for the back, and it comes supplied with a battery made by Arctic Dolphin, and it's a 7.4 volt LiPo pack. Now 7.4 volts is its nominal voltage, but full charge will give you 8.4 volts. It's 1200 milliamp hours and 8.88 watt hours. The rating of this battery is 35C/42A. So 35C, the C rating means that its continuous output is 35 amps, but it will have a pulse output of 42 amps. Now, one thing I will say when charging any LiPo or using any LiPo, use and charge with care. Don't ever overcharge your battery. You don't want to risk it puffing up and, you know, setting on fire. So easiest way to do it is, it's a 1200 milliamp, cover the zeros, that gives you the 12, and put a decimal point in after the 1. So that will give you a 1.2 amp charge rate maximum for this battery. Now the battery is connected with a micro Dean's connector, and it also has a balance charger plug. It does come with a charger. Now the charger that's supplied only charges through the balance plug. I would recommend getting another charger that you connect both these wires to, and it gives you a more accurate charge of the battery. Inside we've got the battery lead itself, and it is heat shrink to protect it, as well as there's some resin in there. And the quality, I mean, the machining quality is absolutely fantastic. You know, for a clone, 180 quid, I don't see how paying 600-700 quid to get the authentic, how it can be any better in quality, but that's just my thought. So I'm just going to chuck the battery back in here. Now, yeah, I've got to be careful with your wires where you're tucking them, especially this one. You don't want to be bending it too much down on the bottom and breaking any connections. Slide the back on, that'll slide back into place. And then, so to switch the mod on, press and hold the menu button, and it gives you the Vicious Ant logo on boot up. And on the screen we have numerous different things, so I'm just going to drop an atomizer on this. So I will just say the mod in the lower wattages does seem a little overpowered, so I don't think it's got drop down that works as well as such as a Yeehee chip. But right, so we've got an atomizer on, and as you can see we've got a lot of detail on the screen. So we've got a live battery bar, as well as a live battery voltage, a puff counter, this clock here, this is the seconds that you have been vaping between, so the amount in seconds on how long your vapes, how long your tokes on the mod are within being switched on. Sorry, I got that wrapped around my head then. So we've got the wattage, the voltage being pushed to the atomizer, the amps that's being pushed, the ohm reading, and then the variamp logo at the top. So if you press the menu button in the middle and the fire button at the same time, it'll say locked. It doesn't mean it's locked from firing, it just means the wattage up and down are locked. Press it again, it now goes into stealth mode, which means it's going to fire, but you can't see what's happening on the screen. Press it once more, it'll wake up the screen. Press the up and down buttons together, we get to the serial number and ID number screen. And then if you press all three buttons together, we can turn the LED on. I don't know, some kind of flashlight, I suppose. So, adjusting the wattage, it's all in 0.1 increments, and it'll do 0.1 increments all the way up to 260 watts. Many devices such as my Sigeli 150, as soon as you hit 100 watts it's in full watt increments, whereas this goes up in 0.1 all the way up to 260 and all the way back down. It does move pretty fast. So, I mean, I really like the fact that it tells you what amps you're pushing as well, because you know you're not going to overload the mod. And all the way back down to 5 volts. So, if we do 5 clicks of the menu button, it takes us to pulse mode. And what pulse mode is, basically, you press it and hold the fire button and it'll go tsh, tsh, tsh. Apparently the features for setting your coils, it is a little weird vaping it in pulse mode, but you can go pulse all the way from 1 volt to 6 volts. 5 more clicks will take us into voltage mode. So voltage mode, everything's swapped. So rather than tell us the voltage here, it tells us the wattage, but it still tells us the amps and everything else. And the voltage range is between 2 volts and 8.4 volts, providing you've got a fully charged battery. If it's not fully charged, then you're only going to get the maximum that's in your battery. So if your battery's at 8 volts, you're only going to be able to push 8 volts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a dripper, I've got CLTV3, so that's a 0.38 build, and a 0.38 build at 8.3 volts is what it's the maximum it's going to give us, will be 21.9 amps at 183 watts. And I'll just show you quickly the pulse mode. So you basically press and hold the fire button, and it'll pulse the fire. Don't see the use for it, but some people will use it. So that's maximum voltage. So if we go back to wattage mode and set that all the way to the maximum, it should readjust. And the screen doesn't flicker, it's just the camera picking the flickering up. So again, it's letting us do 260 watts at 20.1.9 amps, 8.3 volts, and you just press the button and it fires. So what we'll do is, you do also get in the box a cleaning cloth. So what we'll do is just take another look round at the quality of the machining. As you can see, we have got a glossy brushed finish, laser etching on the logo, and it's machined really nicely, made really well all the way around. But as you can see, it's a massive fingerprint magnet. So right, that's the up close. We're going to go back up top and we're going to talk about it and vape on it and come to a conclusion. Okay then, so that was the up close with the Variant titanium clone. So before we rate it, and I'll tell you what I like about it and what I don't, which to be honest is nothing I don't like, we're going to take a vape. So we're going to start at 50 watts. And as I say, this is a 0.38 ohm build. As you can see, absolutely chucks clouds, and that's, I'm pulling my cloth with me. As I said, I am out in the shed, and that's at 50 watts, pulling 11.4 amps. So let's turn it up. So I'll bump it up to 100 watts. And it does, as you say, it does add the extra decimal points as well. So 100 watts, 16.2 amps. And it does get very cloudy and start to dry out pretty quick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go just straight up to 260, and then we'll talk about it a little bit. So 260 watts. You couldn't vape it all day long at 260 watts, that is for sure. Using the CLTV3, the only problem is because it's so big you do get some spit back. So yeah, let's have a little drink. That's at 260. Very warm. So right, let's talk about it then. So the quality, for saying it's only a clone, is the best I've ever seen. Everything just works as it's supposed to, and most of the time, to be honest, I don't vape on this above 10 watts. I don't need to. So vaping at 10 watts with such as a K-Fun on top, I get a good day out of this battery, even though it's only 1300 milliamp hours. Obviously, as soon as you start dripping and pushing up the wattage, you are going to use your battery quite quickly. You can buy battery upgrades for these. There's the E-Flight 1300 milliamp. They're highly recommended batteries for these. And that's a 2S LiPo, which means it's 2 cells in 1 pack. As the spec said, it will take a 3S, but I haven't been able to find one that's going to fit it. So yeah, like I said, the quality is absolutely fantastic. And to show how good this is, I mean, I had this within a few days and I'd already sold on my IPv3. Currently contemplating selling my Sigeli 150 watt as well, because I don't use any other device. This is my everyday device. I've got 2 batteries, make sure one's charged, one's not. I mean, it is an overkill mod, but it's kind of like, how can I describe it? So when the iPhone first came out, it was a highly desired mobile phone, smartphone, and it made you feel special when you had one. That's what this mod does for me. I don't know if people out there are going to agree, but the feel of it, the weight's just right, it's really comfortable, the buttons are nice, and yeah, I mean, I'm just going to ramble on now, but if I could change absolutely anything at all, it'd maybe be, I don't know, some kind of coating on the glass to prevent the fingerprints and stuff, or I don't know, but I suppose when it's cleaned up it does look really smart, but it does get fingerprinted up really quickly. So yeah, I'm going to have another vape and I'm going to leave the video there instead of just rambling on. I mean, personally, I like to drip at 50, 100 watts, where you can take a good vape, you can take a nice long draw on it, and you're not going to just dry your cotton out. So that's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll be back again soon with another review.